You cannot depend on other people if you don't depend on yourself. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance. And yes, that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, it's not for you. Don't force it. Let it fly. But most importantly, grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss why you must learn how to be independent and to depend on yourself, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, some disclaimers, and what to be aware of. Before we get into the disclaimers, the main reason why you must learn how to depend on yourself is because everyone is not always going to be reliable. If people are not dependent on themselves, if people do not support themselves, how and why would they support you? So while you're answering that question in the comment section and in your notes and figuring it out, let's get into the disclaimers. In order for people to genuinely be equally yoked and in alignment with you and support you the way you want to be supported, you must be able to support yourself. You must be able to trust yourself. You must be able to depend on yourself. So if you struggle with learning how to be independent, we're going to go over some recommendations so you can work on that. But a lot of times, a lot of people don't depend on themselves, but expect other people, places, and things to be there for them. In the moment that they don't meet your expectations or they're not there to be reliable, you automatically want to feel some type of way. And I know, because I'm speaking from experience. I've learned at an early age in life, I cannot expect myself from other people when these people don't do these things for themselves. Not just that, if you learn how to depend on yourself, if people do things for you, you don't necessarily have to feel discouraged or attached to them. You won't feel disappointed. So if I learn how to do certain things for myself, I don't necessarily have to get angry when other people can't support me or be there for me. That's like YouTube. If I know that I'm consistent and I'm committed to growing my channel, it doesn't matter if people don't want to share or repost or engage. I'm still going to be successful because I depend on myself. I trust myself. I support myself. And that's the same thing with you. We cannot give all of our trust to people when we don't feel that way about ourselves, because a lot of times, not everyone, some people who know that you don't support yourself will try to use it against you. And I've had people do this. It's unfortunate, but there are some people in this world who will think that they can manipulate you, they can control you. Like, people thought that if they weren't supporting me, I wasn't going to be successful. They learned the hard way. There are some people in this world who are like that, unfortunately. So it's like, to avoid those type of people, just support yourself. Like, I've learned not to be disappointed in people a long time ago, because you will be disappointed with some people. Not because, like I said, everybody's evil. Some people are, but some people, they don't do certain things for themselves. So like, if people don't show up for themselves, how can you expect them to show up for you? The second disclaimer is that when you do learn how to depend on yourself, you don't have to worry about other people being there. You don't have to be attached. You don't have to have codependency issues. When you learn how to depend on yourself, you become confident, you become more consistent, and you become more efficient. So when you're consistent and you have efficiency, you're more than likely capable of achieving the things that you want, but maintaining it. And when you get that certain level of confidence and motivation, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. I'm all the way up, all the way up. Like, just left a bigger house to a bigger house. Like, when you become unstoppable, it doesn't matter if people support you. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people do, because you know what you're capable of. You know your strengths. You know your weaknesses. So the third thing is, if you're somebody who struggles with depending on yourself, you got to work on your confidence, because if you're confident, you could do anything. You could do anything you put your mind to. Like, people be saying all the information and all the motivation and all the positivity is cliche, but it's like, it worked. It's nothing corny about being confident. It's nothing corny about being independent. It's nothing corny about knowing that you can trust yourself to show up for yourself in any area of your life. Because it's like, if you could show up for yourself to do this, you could show up for yourself to do that. And like I said, over time, you just get better. And that's the goal. You want to constantly be bettering yourself. If you're choosing to watch these videos, you're not watching it because you want to see me. Okay? You're watching these videos because you like what I'm saying. You like the energy. You feel inspired. You feel motivated. You feel educated. So the fourth thing you need to be aware of is that as you're learning to depend on yourself, you get to set boundaries. Because it's like, when you don't need people, when you don't need validation from certain people, places, and things, nobody can try to hold certain things against you. Nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can play in your face. Like, nobody can play in my face when it comes to my work ethic. Nobody can play in my face when it comes to my confidence within myself, because I'm not relying on other people. I'm not dependent on other people. You shouldn't have to need people to tell you constantly about yourself once you become confident. Now, of course, if you struggle with confidence and you struggle with insecurities, that's going to be a part of the recommendations, which we're going to talk about in a second. But it's like, once you get that certain level of reassurance, just because somebody reassures you, you still have to be able to make that decision for yourself. So even with these videos, just because I'm pouring into you guys and I'm, speaking from experience and educating and motivating and educated you, it's still up to you to take this information and apply it. If not, it's useless. I'm being so honest. Like, so many people watch so many tutorials on YouTube and read all these self-help books. What good is it if you're not taking action or taking the initiative to work towards it or change? Even if, like I said, you may not be sure in the beginning. So now, leading into the recommendations, if you do struggle with confidence and insecurities, I am challenging you to figure out why you feel like it's so hard. Why is it so impossible? Why do you feel like you can't depend on yourself? And to let me know on your notes and in the comment section. Once you can figure out why you feel like it's so difficult for you to support yourself or to be independent, or why you can't trust yourself, you then could respond and react and come up with how it's affecting you. So once you know what it is that you lack and you know why it's affecting you and how it's showing up in your life, you can come up with a solution. So once you figure out why you feel like you're not that girl, I need you to understand, how is this affecting you? So because you don't believe in yourself, maybe you're not working towards your goals, or because you feel like you're not smart enough, maybe you dumb yourself down. Like, I need you to be vulnerable. I need you to be honest. That's basically what I'm saying. Like, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be honest. You have to be able to confront what it is that you lack, because you're going to face your fears. That's how you face your fears. You talk about it. You address it. So the second thing is just to address it and to be honest. Don't worry about people making fun of you or judging you. They're not important. At this point, when you're watching these videos, everything is about you. Anything that's outside of you, that's not motivating you, educating you, or pouring into you, it doesn't matter. But it's like, the second recommendation is learning to be vulnerable, because if you're not vulnerable, how are we supposed to come up with solutions? How are you going to come up with a solution? How am I going to come up with a solution? So then now, the third thing would be coming up with a solution. Once you are able to identify why you don't trust yourself and you understand how it's been affecting you and how it's making you feel, I then want you to figure out, what can we do about it? So as you guys are engaging, like I said, in the comment section and in your notes, we can come up with solutions. This is a solution-based account. If you feel like you couldn't depend on yourself because you weren't taught and shown how to be emotionally and physically stable, and you realize that it's been affecting you, like in your relationship, in the confidence you have within yourself, what could we do to become emotionally and physically stable? Which is going to be the fourth thing. Whatever you guys wrote down in the comment section or in your notes, I challenge you to start working towards it. You have to be able to be vulnerable when it comes to healing. You have to be able to say, you know what? I don't feel confident when it comes to my looks. I don't feel confident when it comes to me expressing myself. I don't feel confident in being the best version of myself because I wasn't taught and shown, because people made fun of me, because I was bullied, because whatever it was. When you can do that, you're learning to build confidence. You're learning to trust yourself, because you're allowing what no longer resonates with you to leave. You're learning to let go of it. And when you let go of something and you get better and you practice, and like I said, you take what resonates, leave the rest, over time you'll be able to see the results. And that's the fifth and final recommendation. When you're learning to be dependent on yourself and to be dependable, you just have to allow yourself to learn. You have to allow yourself to take the time to do it. Like learning to trust yourself, let's just say financially. If you've never been financially stable, or you never had financial literacy, or you never were just exposed to finance, it's going to take time. Like if you grew up in poverty, but now all of a sudden you want to learn how to manage your money, and like let's just say before you weren't good with managing your money, that's going to take time. Like that's going to take experience. So it's like you don't have to rush you learning how to trust yourself. You don't have to compare your camera got cut off, but I believe what I was saying in the last clip was that you don't have to compare your life basically when it comes to learning how to trust yourself or learning how to be independent, especially if you don't have the same resources and the same tools and you weren't taught and shown. Because learning how to be independent, if that's not something that was like installed in you, like if you didn't witness it, if you didn't see it, it does take you time to figure certain things out. And learning to be independent doesn't just have to be in one way. Like learning to be financially independent, learning how to be emotionally independent, learning how to be physically independent, like as a whole. Like if you're not already like disciplined in every area of your life, like throughout your childhood and your adult years or your teenage years, that is something that you do learn over time. So it's just like, don't be disappointed in people. If you can stop being disappointed in people, I promise you, you won't be so quick to like judge people or be discouraged. Because like, once again, some people will intentionally not support you and not be there for you because they're not there for themselves. Like once I was able to accept that a lot of people that I was once familiar with didn't believe in themselves and didn't support themselves, when they weren't supporting me, I didn't take it personal. Now, this doesn't mean that there aren't people in this world who don't want to see you happy and who don't want to support you, because there are people who support me genuinely because once again, they support themselves. But for the people who don't, when you're surrounded and around people like that, you don't have to internalize it. Like you can process it, but you don't have to internalize it. Like you don't have to receive that projection or deflection. You don't have to feel like you're a loser because you're having to do things by yourself, or that you had to figure things out at a certain time compared to somebody who's always had everything shown and taught to them. Like I've never not once compared my independency of me learning certain things when I've had to learn them alone 99% of the time if I didn't experience it myself, versus people and places and things, once again, who had certain tools and resources. Like, and that's why it's no reason to compare, because it's like, I'm not them, they're not you, and same thing with people that you know. But it's like when you do learn to support yourself, when you do learn how to be reliable and depend on yourself, that's when you can meet people who have the same energy. Like you should get to a point in your life that the people who come into your life are in the same energy, the same frequency as you. You may not always see eye to eye, but like if you're pouring into them, they could pour into you. If you do certain things for them, they could do certain things for you. Not to hold it against you, not to make it feel like if you don't have their help that you won't be able to be anything, because that's not true. Like unless it's like a disability, you can do things by yourself. And what I've learned is that me doing things by myself, me personally, I enjoy it, because at the end of the day, nobody can be like, well, if it wasn't for me, nobody could say that about me. And to me, that's the biggest like sense of success or like gratitude, knowing that you and I are able to do things for ourselves. Like we don't need people to be there. Like we're grateful if they are, but it's not like, oh my God, such and such didn't support me, or somebody didn't help me and now I don't know what to do. Like we're not clueless. You feel me? I think, like I said, that's a huge accomplishment. That's something to be proud of, because it's like when people don't support themselves, and that's all unfortunately you're surrounded with, a lot of people will like to project and deflect that onto you. And like I said, I've had people try, but they've learned slowly but surely. It doesn't matter if people don't like my videos, they still watched it. It doesn't matter if people don't engage or repost, they still viewed it, you know? So it's like, don't worry about when certain things happen, as long as you're doing what you need to do. Because when you're meant to receive something, you will receive it. When certain things are meant to happen, it will happen. Just do what you can. And it's like, once you realize what's in your control and what's not, you don't have to stress yourself out. You don't have to worry about when it's going to happen, because you're taking your time. Like, when you learn how to depend on yourself, you don't have to rush. So many people who rush end up crashing out, like burning themselves out, become overwhelmed, become anxious, become stressed, become sick. Like, and it's like, we don't need to do that. We don't need to overwork ourselves. We don't need to overextend ourselves. We just need to be, practical about what we're able to do within 24 hours, what we're able to do when we have days to rest, what we're able to do when we have days to like work and enjoy ourselves. Like, it's no need to honestly be overwhelmed when you use what you have and you get to where you need to be. And not just that, like I said, because it's such a certain level of gratitude, you become appreciative. So therefore, when you do get more resources and more tools, and you're able to invest in yourself because you were dependable on yourself, you just have a certain level of appreciation. So it's like, yeah, when you're depending on yourself and you don't have support, this doesn't mean that you don't want support, but it's like, when you learn to pour into yourself, when you learn to trust in yourself, when you learn to count on yourself, when you do get the things that you want, you just have this certain level of like confidence. You feel me? So my camera got cut off, you guys. I don't remember what I was saying previously, and like, I'm at a point right now where it's just like, I'm just uploading these videos because I want them to be as genuine and authentic as possible. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, of course, let me know down in the comment section down below. But most importantly, thank you guys, like I said, for who are engaging and who are liking and subscribing, like always, and follow me on all my social media platforms. All the information down in the description box below. And I think I wanted to say this: when you do depend on yourself and you are surrounded by people who are genuine, it's a good feeling. Like, I'm so genuinely grateful for all of you guys who support yourself. Like, I personally don't want people to be around me or to worry about what I'm doing if they don't support themselves. But I know there are going to be people in this world who don't support themselves. Of course, they're going to watch and, like I said, not engage. The reason why I personally don't have any desire to be around them is because I feel bad for them. Like, you're wasting your time. But like, for those of you who are not wasting your time and who genuinely want to be here and who genuinely do support, like I said, I'm grateful. Nobody can be like, oh, if I didn't like her video, if I didn't repost her video, she would never be successful. That's not true. I was going to be successful regardless. And that's the same thing with you. So it's just like, depend on yourself. If you have people that support you, like, I'm telling you, when you get around bosses, when you get around people who want to win, it's just such a great feeling. Like, I really don't have any words to explain it. So yeah, all my social media platforms is in the description box below. Book your service in your session by clicking the link in my bio in the description. And when you guys follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, I will be going live talking about these things. But let me know if you want me to talk about something else, if I didn't address it already. And yeah, till next time.